they would wait round corners and things, and then shout at you, you know, Paki.
Sajid Javid has felt the full force of British racism.
Spit at you, sometimes throw stones, so you suddenly feel a stone hitting you from, you know, you suddenly work out where, you know, trying to work out where it's come from. And you know, I was very young, and I was frightened. You know, I didn't like that. I mean, I hated it.
The Chancellor was just 5 years old at the time, living with his mother, father and brothers in Rochdale, on this street, in this house. The son joined the Tory MP as he revisited the streets, people and attitudes that helped forge his political beliefs.
Chancellor.
Hey.
How are you?
Great to see you here.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Has it changed?
Apart from the satellite dishes, no, not really.
Sajid lived in Rochdale, Greater Manchester, until he was 6 years old, when the family moved to Bristol. The son of Pakistani immigrant parents, he was born into an era of greater racial tension in Britain. His memories of his home, however, are mostly warm.
Yeah.
Fantastic community, lovely place to live.
Yeah.
And everyone cared for each other, all the kids played together, everyone you knew most of the people on your street.
Yeah.
And we used to play all the time on the street. You know, football, sometimes trying to even play cricket. It was a hard job to get me into the house after a while.
The family lived in this house, close to relatives. His aunt lived just up the street. His cousin still lives just around the corner.
Should we go in? Should we go in?
Sajid's father, Abdul Ghani Javid, came to the UK with just £1 in his pocket. He made his way north from London to Rochdale in search of work, eventually landing a job in a cotton mill.
He would queue up outside for a day job. You know, every day he kept going, and if there wasn't one, he'd go the next day. And then he got up really early, so I'd be the first in the queue. And the story he told me was that then the foreman who was in charge of literally picking, you can get a job today, you can have what. He'd sort of thought, well, this guy's here every day, he's at the front of the queue every day, he's clearly very ambitious and, you know, he's got the energy. And then he started to get picked, and then he got offered a full-time job.
In the late 60s, Sajid's father left the mill, hoping to become a bus driver.
He wasn't allowed to become a driver first because, believe it or not, then the local union had a rule that all drivers had to be white. And so he kept trying, and eventually he did, and he would have become one of the first that wasn't white to become a driver.
As well as the institutional racism of the time, Sajid and his siblings also endured appalling abuse from local skinheads.
When I was growing up in Rochdale, the National Front was quite active. And obviously as a kid I didn't really understand it, other than I knew that these were a group of people and they didn't like people that weren't white. And the targets in those days were especially people of Asian origin, like myself. And so I used to walk to school, normally with my cousin and one of my older brothers. And some of these skinheads, NF, National Front members, they would wait round corners and things, and then shout at you, you know, Paki bastard, spit at you, sometimes throw stones, so you suddenly feel a stone hitting you from, you know, you suddenly work out where, you know, trying to work out where it's come from. And you know, I was very young, and I was frightened. You know, I didn't like that. I mean, I hated it. I remember one of my younger brothers saying at the time, and he said something like, he said, Saj, he said, one of my friends told me, you've got to look at their laces. I said, what do you mean? And he said, you've got to look at their laces. I said, what's that mean? He said, oh, well, he said, a friend of school told me that if the NF members have yellow laces, that means they don't like people of Pakistani origin. And if they have red laces, that means they don't like people that are black. And so if they got red laces, then you can go. And I thought, no, I don't think it works like that. I don't think it's, and he was only like 4 or something. He was like telling me, this is what one of my friends had told me.
Jeremy Corbyn says he represents the working classes and you're a bunch of posh Tories who've got no idea what their lives are really like. Does that make you angry when you hear that?
Yeah, it does, because Jeremy Corbyn is just interested in dividing people, right? Whether that's by sort of class or by race or by the area they live in, he just wants to divide people. And when it comes to being on the side of working people, I passionately believe that we are the party of working people. I've said it and I say it again and again because that's exactly what we are and it's what we do.
Sajid's parents worked tirelessly, his mother sewing clothes for his father to sell on the weekends, often late into the night.
And she would sew all these clothes, trousers and skirts and blouses and things, so my dad could then sell them in the market stall at the weekend.
Right.
And I'd go to bed and I'd hear the humming of this machine all night, and I didn't think anything at the time, but if I didn't hear it, it was almost unusual not to hear it.
Young Sajid enjoyed helping his father, taking particular interest in the financial side of the business.
I used to like wearing the money belt and trying to serve the customers. Very good thing, wearing the money belt, becoming Chancellor. It's not bad, is it?
Let's say the habit is stuck.
Yeah. My dad was from Lasuri. Yeah, Lasuri and Chichawatni.
If re-elected, he hopes to provide opportunities for others to follow in his footsteps.
Good, great hairstyle. I love it. Yeah, very good. One thing I don't get tired of sort of saying is that there is lots of talent in our country. This is full of talent. This area, all of Rochdale North. You know, all these towns in the north are great towns. But I think I know actually when you knock on doors, speak to people even now, there's a sense of amongst some people they feel a bit, maybe they've been left behind. It's been too much about the south, east, and London, and I think we've got to do something about that.